Welcome to this explainer. Listen, if you're a dog or cat owner living in Milwaukee County, you are exactly where you need to be. Today, we're taking something that might feel like, boring, administrative red tape, and we're breaking it down into a super clear, actionable checklist. We're going to help you get compliant, save some cash, and most importantly, protect your furry best friend. Right out of the gate, I've got to ask you, what do you think is the absolute best deal in Milwaukee? I know you're probably thinking of an epic Friday fish fry or a killer happy hour, but what if I told you it's actually a municipal requirement? Literally. A pet license isn't just another tax. It is, for all intents and purposes, a VIP pass for your pet. And here's exactly why I call it a VIP pass. The Milwaukee Area Domestic Animal Control Commission, you probably know them as MADAC, they run this incredible program called Free Ride Home. Imagine your dog or cat somehow slips out of the yard. If they're found wearing their current license tag, MADAC officers or local cops can use that tag to contact you directly, and they will bring your pet straight home to you for free once a year. It completely bypasses the shelter, it saves you from some seriously hefty impound fees, and honestly, it's just pure peace of mind hanging right there on their collar. All right, here is our roadmap for today. First, why license? Second, who and what you need. Third, how to apply and fees. Fourth, renewals and deadlines. Fifth, special cases and solutions. And finally, number 6, pro tips and wrap-up. Section 1. Why license? The financial contrast here is just staggering. A standard license for a spayed or neutered pet, that's just $12. But if an unlicensed pet gets picked up, well, brace yourself. You're looking at a $30 impound fee right off the bat just for handling the animal. Then add on a $25 daily boarding fee, plus municipal at-large fines that can easily hit $60 depending on where you live in the county. Suddenly, skipping that $12 tag is costing you well over $100 in a single afternoon. Ouch, right? So beyond avoiding those fines, the perks of compliance are absolutely crucial. Think of this tag as a driver's license for your pet. It means you can reunite with a lost pet in minutes. It unlocks that awesome free ride home program we just talked about. It's visible proof of a rabies vaccination. And okay, here is a massive benefit most people don't know about. If your dog ever gets into a scuffle and bites someone, state law mandates a 10-day rabies quarantine. But if your pet is licensed and up to date on vaccines, you might actually be eligible for an in-home quarantine instead of having to surrender them to a facility for 10 long days. I mean, that alone is worth the $12 for sure. Okay, let's move on to Section 2, who and what you need. The rule in Milwaukee County is incredibly straightforward, honestly. Every single dog, and cat for that matter, over the age of 5 months absolutely must be licensed annually. And hey, this isn't just for the city of Milwaukee itself. This applies uniformly across all 19 municipalities in Milwaukee County. So whether you're hanging out in Wauwatosa, Oak Creek, or Brown Deer, that 5-month rule applies to you. Now, before you apply, you're going to want to assemble a quick checklist. You'll need your basic contact info plus your pet's demographic details, name, breed, color, age, all that good stuff. But most importantly, you absolutely must have a current rabies vaccination certificate administered by a licensed vet. You literally cannot get a license without this. It's the main public health driver behind the whole system. You'll also want to grab proof of your pet's sterilization, their spay or neuter certificate, because, as we're going to see in just a second, it makes a huge difference to your wallet. Which brings us to Section 3, how to apply and fees. This whole process boils down to 3 really simple steps. First, grab that paperwork from your vet. Second, pick how you want to apply. And third, wait for the tag to arrive. If you apply online or by mail, the physical tag usually hits your mailbox in about 5 to 10 business days. It's highly efficient. Honestly, it's so easy a golden retriever could almost do it. So, how exactly do you apply? Well, you've got 4 convenient channels to choose from. The absolute most popular is online, right through MADAC's website. It's super simple, though it does tack on a tiny $1 processing fee. You can also kick it old school and apply by traditional mail. If you're the kind of person who wants the tag in your hand today, you can go in person to MADAC's facility on West Burnham Street. And finally, you can often just buy them directly at participating local vet clinics or your local municipal hall during regular business hours. Okay, remember when I mentioned a financial incentive? Here it is. If your pet is altered, meaning spayed or neutered, the standard fee is a flat $12. But if they're intact and can still breed, that fee doubles to $24. There's also a cool prorated setup for puppies and kittens. If they turn 5 months old after July 1st, those fees are cut in half for the remainder of that first year. So it really pays to have your pet fixed. All right, Section 4, renewals and deadlines. Here's the deal with renewals. Milwaukee County pet licenses operate strictly on a calendar year basis, meaning it doesn't matter if you bought your license in October, it still expires on December 31st. The new license year always kicks off on January 1st, but luckily the county gives us a really generous 3-month grace period running all the way through March 31st, and MADAC usually makes this super easy by mailing out renewal postcards to existing licensed pet owners every December. But I really want to visually anchor this date in your mind, April 1st. This is the absolute cutoff. No joke. If you haven't renewed by the time April 1st rolls around, those late fees are going to kick in immediately. Let's take a look at what those late fees actually look like. For an altered pet, the fee jumps from $12 to $18. For an intact pet, it jumps from $24 to $36. Now, there's one really helpful exception here. If you're a brand new resident who just moved to Milwaukee, or maybe you just adopted a sweet new pet after April 1st, you actually get a 30-day grace period from that specific date to get licensed without paying any penalties. You just have to make sure you act within that first month. Moving on to Section 5, Special Cases and Solutions. So, here are a few common hiccups people sometimes run into. First up, if you try to renew online and the system flags your pet's rabies vaccine is expired, your application is going to be put on hold. No need to panic, though. You simply just email or fax the updated certificate from your vet to MADAC and they'll unblock it. Second, we've got to clear up a huge misconception. Unlike some of the neighboring counties, Milwaukee County does not offer a senior citizen discount on standard pet licenses. The only senior discount they do have is for this separate dog park permit, which drops to $15 for folks 65 and older. And finally, just a heads up, there is a strict limit on the number of pets you can have. The standard cap is 4 adult dogs, cats, or rabbits per dwelling unit. Now, what if you have a full house and you're desperate for a 5th pet? Well, if you live in a single or 2-family home, you can actually keep a 5th animal, but you have to get an animal fancier permit. You process this through the Department of Neighborhood Services. It costs roughly $60, and it does subject your home to an annual inspection just to make sure the animals are living in a safe, healthy environment. Keep in mind this permit is generally a no-go for multi-unit apartment buildings. There's one more special case, and this applies specifically to residents living within the city of Milwaukee proper. If you own a pit bull or a Rottweiler, you are strictly required to complete a behavioral seminar to stay compliant with city ordinances. The Department of Neighborhood Services runs this class, it's held entirely online, and it carries a $15 fee. It's a really simple extra step, but it is absolutely mandatory for owners of these specific breeds within city limits. And that brings us to Section 6, Pro Tips and Wrap-Up. To make this a completely stress-free process year after year, I highly recommend following these best practices. First off, grab your phone right now and set a recurring annual reminder for late March so you never miss that renewal window. Second, the second you get home from the vet with a new rabies certificate, snap a picture of it and favorite it on your phone. That way, you've always got exactly what you need to renew online instantly. And finally, a quick disclaimer. While all the fees and rules we've covered today reflect current municipal data, local ordinances can and do change. So always verify the latest fee structures directly at MADAC or door. So what do you say? Are you ready to get official and give your pet their VIP pass? Taking just 10 minutes to knock out this simple administrative task deeply protects your wallet and guarantees your best friend a free ride home if they ever need it. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. And it really leaves you wondering what other simple, totally overlooked municipal rules could be quietly saving or costing you hundreds of dollars right now.